Hello, how are you? This is Hina from Team Test, and today's capsule summary is a requested one. Many of you said that I must cover this in feminist literature. So here I am with The Palace of Illusions, a novel. This was published in the year 2008 and it is written by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni. Well, basically, Chitra, she was born in India, West Bengal in India, but then she moved to America. So she's an Indian-born American writer, born in the year 1956. And this novel, The Palace of Illusions, is a retelling of Mahabharata, our great Indian epic. It's a retelling of Mahabharata from Draupadi's point of view. And here Chitra has used the name Panchali throughout. So that is how I will also address Draupadi as Panchali. So let's begin. It's a very, very awesome retelling. But I have to tell you something. Whatever I say here, like whatever are the thoughts of Panchali, they are not the real thoughts in Mahabharata. No. Chitra has devised her own way after researching for many years, reading different versions of Mahabharata. She came to the conclusion that, Panchali must have thought like this. Panchali's viewpoint must be like this. Okay. So don't take this as Mahabharata. मैं आपको महाभारत नहीं सुना रही हूँ. There are many twists and turns which are added by the author. Okay. Writer's freedom. Yes. Let's start. Panchali and her twin brother Dhiri are born out of a sacred fire to King Drupad. Sage Vyas prophesied at Panchali's birth that she is going to change the course of history. Panchali grows up as a royal princess. She learns the 64 arts that women of aristocracy have to master. For example, dancing, singing, writing poetry, composing riddles, etc. But Panchali seems disinterested in any of these. She wants to master her brother's arts, like statesmanship and gaining knowledge of the world. So did you understand? Panchali and her twin brother Dhiri, they have been born out of a fire. And who is their father? King Drupad. Okay, let's move ahead. When Panchali comes of age, King Drupad arranges a magnificent swayamvar for her. Great archers are invited to participate in the archery competition. Everyone expects Arjun, a Pandav, to win the contest and take Panchali as his wife. But just a few days before the Swayamvar, Pandav's palace is burnt down and they are killed by treachery by their cousins Kauravas. The reality is the Pandavas are not dead, they are still alive. Panchali is concerned that if not Arjun, who will win the archery contest as well as her? What is happening here in this slide? Well, Panchali's marriage is decided by her father that we will, arrange a magnificent swayamvar. You know what is swayamvar, right? The woman chooses her husband. And here the basis will be archery competition. Whoever wins in the archery competition will win Panchali. But Panchali thinks, this is not fair. I am anyway not selecting my husband. The archery competition is. How can you say I am selecting my husband? These are the thoughts which are going at the back of her mind. Okay. Now here, Krishna is a very, very sacred friend of Panchali. Throughout the novel, you will hear Krishna's name. Lord Krishna, yes. In this novel, Krishna is shown as a human as well as a god. Okay. He will appear in both the forms. So, she asks Krishna that who is the best archer in the kingdom? Who will win me? And Krishna tells her that it will be Arjun the Pandav. But they hear it that the Pandavas are killed by their cousins Kauravas. The fight between these cousins Pandavas and Kauravas is the mainstream, right? This is what will lead to the war. Just remember right now, the cousins are Pandavas and Kauravas. Kauravas have burnt down Pandav's palace and they think they have killed the Pandavas, but no, Pandavas are not dead. The 5 Pandav brothers are still alive, okay? So now, Panchali obviously thinks that Arjun is dead. So now who will win me in the Swayamvar? Krishna, who is portrayed as a human and a god in this novel, is the best friend of Panchali. He believes that Karna, the best friend of Kauravas, is as good as Arjun and he might win the contest. So now Karn, the new character, comes here. Karn is a friend of the Kauravas, okay? But clearly Krishna, Dhiri, they don't like the Kauravas at all because Kauravas are treacherous, they are cunning, okay? So anybody who is by the side of Kauravas is also cunning, and Karn is at the side of the Kauravas. So Krishna says that if not Arjun, Karn will win the contest. But since Karn is aligned with the wrong people, Panchali would not be given to him. It is planned that the contest shall be stopped so that Karn does not win. Now let's come to the Swayamvar scene. Panchali walks into her Swayamvar all decked up and beautiful by her Daima. Panchali does not have a mother. She's raised up by her caretaker who is called Daima in this novel. Okay. Now, as she enters the big room with her brother Dhiri, she looks at Karn. Oh, the handsome boy standing there. Oh, his biceps. She finds him irresistibly attractive. And let me tell you, at this time, Panchali falls in love with Karn. But Karn, his father, like we don't know who is Karn's father, Karn is born and brought up by a charioteer. He is, from the downside of the casteism, which was very important then. So Karn definitely cannot marry a princess. But the reality is, you will know it by the end of the novel, Karn is not poor. Karn is the sixth Pandav. But this will be known only at the end of the war and the novel. Okay. So now, till now, just remember this. Panchali has entered the Swayamvar. She looks at Karn. She finds him so awesome and she definitely likes him. But she can't marry him. Okay. No, she can't. Now, unexpected things happen during this Swayamvar. First, when Karn comes forward to participate in the archery contest, he has to be stopped. Panchali devises an idea to insult him. She asks him, "Before I marry you, tell me your father's name." Karn cannot answer this. He does not know who his father is. He has been raised up by another person, and this question humiliates him. From this point on, Karn becomes a bitter enemy of Panchali for life. So this is the first unexpected event in the Swayamvar. Second, in the audience, the 5 Pandavas are hiding in disguise. The Kauravas think, the people think, in fact, Panchali thinks that the Pandavas are dead. But no, they are hiding in disguise. And from this hiding, the result of the Swayamvar comes, which means Arjun wins the contest. And Arjun takes Panchali as his beautiful one wife. Obviously, she's one in the Swayamvar, right? So as his beautiful one wife in a tiny hut, okay, because their home is hut right now, that also a dilapidated hut. Who lives in this hut? You have to know this. So the 5 Pandavas and their mother, whose name is Kunti. Inside the hut, Mother Kunti is cooking. One of the Pandavas says, "Look, Mom, what we got for you." They are saying this for Panchali. "Look, Mom, we've got you Panchali." To which Mother Kunti replies, "Whatever it is, share it equally among yourselves." Kunti from the start shared everything equally among her 5 sons. So she said, whatever it is, just share it equally. And in this way, Panchali becomes the wife of 5 husbands. But again, Ved Vyas has an arrangement here. Who is Ved Vyas? You know it, right? The author of Mahabharata. So Ved Vyas has an arrangement here. See, how can one wife be with 5 husbands together? No. So the arrangement made is that Panchali will be with one husband for 1 year, starting from oldest to the youngest. That is, look at the names from oldest to youngest Pandav brothers: Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev. Imagine. So Panchali is told to be with one husband for 1 year, starting from oldest to youngest. She does not like this idea, but she agrees. Now, there is one instance from the novel, I have to tell you this. Panchali's thoughts in bed, while she is lying down in bed with Yudhishthir. Quote, "In bed, to my amused surprise, he was shy and easily alarmed. Slowly, I realized he had in his head many ideas. Had Kunti put them there? about what constituted ladylike sexual behavior, I could see I had to dedicate significant energy to re-educate him. It was going to be a long year. 1 year with Yudhishthir. Okay, now after this marriage, after this Swayamvar, you should know this, King Bhishma or Bhishma Pitama. Who is Bhishma Pitama? He is the big Dadaji of the Pandavas and the Kauravas, or let me say, he is the Bada brother of Dadaji of Pandav and Kaurav. So basically, Bade Dadaji. Just remember this, grandfather. So King Bhishma divides the kingdom between the cousins, that is Pandavas and Kauravas, okay, the kingdom of Hastinapur. King Bhishma says that enough of staying in the hut, we will divide the kingdom into two. But here again, the cunningness of the Kauravas is shown. You know, the Pandavas are given such a barren piece of land, such a bad piece of land. But so what? With the valor and hard work, the Pandavas build a prosperous city of Indraprasth, which is now Delhi. Remember this, Indraprasth now is Delhi. So now the Pandavas, they build Indraprasth there, okay? And in Indraprasth, they build a magnificent palace. Who builds it for them? Demigods. Demigods. And this palace is quite illusionary. Here is where the title of the novel comes from, the Palace of Illusions. The palace where, or, you know, it is like the journey of the human into this world, and this world is called the Palace of Illusion. Now, how is this palace where the Pandavas and Panchali will stay is a palace of illusion? Listen to it. You see a wall, but it is not a wall. It's just an illusion of the wall. You see floor, but it is not floor. It can be water. That is how the palace is illusionary. But Panchali loves her new palace. Now, the climax of the novel is coming. Once Duryodhan, of course, you know who Duryodhan is, the Kaurav, the cousin of the Pandavas, who definitely hates Pandavas, who wants the throne of Hastinapur. So Duryodhan visits the palace, and because of its illusion, falls into a pool. Duryodhan falls into a pool. Panchali laughs at Duryodhan and says, a blind son of a blind father. Who is the father of Duryodhan? You know it, King Dhritarashtra, who is blind, remember? So Panchali makes fun of Duryodhan by saying a blind son of a blind father. And this forms a climax in the story, after which Duryodhan pledges to take his revenge from this nasty woman and her 5 husbands. And after this, you know it, Yudhishthir loses everything, including his palace, his treasury, his people, even his wife, in an unfair dice game against Duryodhan and their uncle Shakuni, Shakuni Mama. Okay. Yudhishthir is actually, you know, it is definitely a false game. He's been tricked into losing. And he keeps on betting. Abhi main mere palace ko daav pe lagata hoon. Abhi main meri gold ko daav pe lagata hoon. End mein kuch bhi daav pe lagane ke liye nahi bacha. To wo apni wife Panchali ko daav pe laga leta hai. And Yudhishthir loses everything in this very bad game of dice. Okay. After this, because he loses everything, the Kauravas command the Pandavas to go to exile in the forest for 12 years. And during this exile, Panchali's sole focus is revenge. She is one of the few women in our epic literature who speaks up and answers questions. She is depicted as a strong, modern, and timeless character. And after living in exile for 12 years, the Pandavas have to disguise for another year. Basically, 13 साल का वनवास था, remember this, जिसमें 12 साल they could roam around freely. 1 साल का गुप्त वनवास था. What is this गुप्त वनवास or hidden वनवास? For 1 year, the Pandavas were told to go into hiding. For that 13th year, if the Kauravas find the Pandavas, they will be again sent for 12 years. Yes, that was what was decided after Yudhishthir lost everything. So now for this 13th year, the Pandavas go into hiding in a neighboring palace of Virat Nagar. Okay. Now here, how do they hide? You know, somebody tries and, you know, the 5 brothers, basically, they take different positions in this palace at Virat Nagar, and Panchali becomes a maid servant to the queen. वो queen ka, saaj shringar karti hai. She takes care of the queen. But now what happens? The queen's brother, Prince Kichak, tries to seduce Panchali. And when she shows no interest, he threatens to rape her. Oh, Panchali tells this to her husband. And Bhim, the strongest one, Panchali and her husband Bhim, murder Kichak. As a result of this violence, the Kauravas come to know the whereabouts of the Pandavas. And what happens? You know it. The great war of Mahabharat breaks out. It begins between the cousins Pandavas and Kauravas. Where? In the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Where is Kurukshetra? In present-day Haryana. Yes. And now let's talk about the result of the war. You know it. The Kauravas and their allies die. Yes. Bhishma Pitama dies. Kauravas die, Karna die. In fact, people close to Panchali also die. Who all? Her father, her brother, Karna, they all are killed. Drupad, Dhiri, Karna. Pandavas get the throne, they rule peacefully, and now we're coming to the end of the novel. After this, Krishna, he goes to Dwarka, but then we hear about the death of Krishna. And after hearing the death of Krishna Bhagwan, or the dear lover friend Krishna, Panchali's husbands decide that it is time for them to die as well. Remember Arjun and Krishna? All the brothers, they were attached to Krishna. Panchali and Krishna, they shared a sacred and an enchanting relationship, which was very uncommon during those days. And after Krishna goes to heaven, the 5 husbands and Panchali also ascend up towards the mountains. And here, their transition to the afterlife is shown. And Panchali finally unites with Karna in heaven. Let me tell you, in original Mahabharat, ye nahi dikhaya gaya hai that Panchali unites with Karna. No, no, no. Only in the novel The Palace of Illusions, Chitra has shown that Panchali unites with Karna, her first love interest in heaven. And the novel The Palace of Illusions is done. इतना सुनने के बाद एक review तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा because I really liked it. The review was given by Booklist, which is an American publication. It summarizes the plot of The Palace of Illusions like this. Listen. Smart, resilient, and courageous Panchali, born of fire, marries all 5 of the famously heroic Pandav brothers, harbors a secret love, endures a long exile in the wilderness, instigates a catastrophic war, and slowly learns the truth about Krishna, her mysterious friend. And we are done with The Palace of Illusions. I loved it. I hope you also did. Here we are done with the feminist literature series. Very soon I will come with another series. Which one? For that, stay tuned to our channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, kindly subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends and relatives. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.